Now let's get to our first conversation today. A lot about the Strait of Hormuz. Diplomatic efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz are gaining momentum, but Washington and Tehran are still divided over key details of the negotiations. The development is already affecting global oil markets with major implications for oil-producing nations. The United States says a deal to restore shipping through the strategic waterway could be reached soon, while Iran insists that important security arrangements are yet to be resolved. Now, both sides also disagree on whether the talks are direct negotiations or discussions being handled through Oman. At the center of the dispute is the movement of commercial vessels through the strait, a major route for global energy supplies. Iran says reaching an understanding does not automatically guarantee immediate and unrestricted shipping. This uncertainty has triggered reactions in the oil market, with crude oil prices falling after reports of possible progress between both sides. However, concerns remain over security risk affecting shipping routes across the Gulf and surrounding waters. Now, for oil-producing countries, of course, like Nigeria, the situation presents both opportunities and challenges as they watch whether diplomacy can translate into stable energy flows. My guest is Chief Economist, SPM Professionals, Dr. Paul Alaje. He joins me virtually for this conversation this afternoon. Good afternoon, Dr. Alaje. It's good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon, sir, and thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you. Nice one, as always. The Strait of Hormuz, I think we should start. There's been a lot of talks about the Strait of Hormuz. I'm sure some people will just be hearing even for the first time since when this crisis started. Remains a global oil transit route. Now, how significant would you say are the ongoing negotiations in reducing geopolitical risk, and what impacts could they have on global oil prices?
Thank you once again, sir. What we know is that anytime both parties are talking, global oil price emerges, it comes down. And anytime both parties kicks goodbye, or they say they are not talking, or they are fighting, or there are explosions on either side, the oil price jumps up. The earlier the world leaders know this, the better for all of us. Now, it's so strategic, not because two countries or three countries are at war. It is so strategic because of trade. And you know, trade is what builds growth, among quite a number of other things. So if the Strait of Hormuz is not cleared for shipment, especially cargo ship, which carries crude, among other equipment, as well as goods, then the world might still be faced with elevated oil prices. This elevation will have implication on one, inflation, on two, currencies of nation in the long run or in the medium term, and three, quality of life of nations. For someone who is listening to us now in Ogbomoso and the person listening to us in Ohimini, it might be wondering, with Strait of Hormuz put food on my table and is watching your show? I tell you, yes, it will affect what you buy commodity in the future or in the near future if it's not already affecting it. And if somebody listening to us in Abuja and on Victoria Island in Lagos, and he wants to buy a ticket, maybe for holidays, and the person is wondering, with Strait of Hormuz, don't worry, my flight will not fly through that route. The truth is that you're already being affected, because if the prices are elevated, it's going to affect the cost of ticket. What does that mean? From the poorest of the poorest to the highest of the highest in our country, whatever happens in that negotiation, if that negotiation does not go through, it affects everybody, including our nation, without any exemption. So Strait of Hormuz play key role, even to government. One, if the price of crude goes up, what happens to government is that our revenue, provided we can sell more in terms of output. By the way, we've seen some improvement in terms of crude output. According to the authorities, NNPCL, among others, are published figures revealing that Nigeria has been relatively steady in terms of oil output, that's oil export. The implication for this is that what we will sell at $75 per barrel is different. The revenue we get, I beg your pardon, $75 per barrel is different from what you get producing the same output at $100 per barrel. So if I were in government, the higher the price, the better for me, because I will have more money for projects. I'm going to have more money. But as economists who puts the welfare of the people first. And I'm in government, I also want to look at what are the cushion effects we'll put in place so that our people are not badly affected. So give or take is going to lead to elevation of government revenue, which is good. It's also going to mean that government can settle more bills, especially goods that has to do with infrastructure, what will affect the people, what we ensure that we excel as a nation. It's also going to help us with quite a number of other things. But if the talks do not go well, we have seen about 4 attempts since the war started in end of February 2026. We've seen four attempts at reconciliation. Sadly, painfully, the 4 attempts to a large extent has not really led to a major resolution at this time.
Brilliant stuff. Well, if tensions in the region eases, how might major oil-producing countries such as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, UAE, and Iran adjust their production strategies and revenue expectations? Even countries like Nigeria, because we're getting more money. You alluded to that in your first submission. What happens when there's ease with regards to this situation?
Well, I think OPEC plus one needs to play a key role here. When you know that OPEC has not really sided with, has not come up openly to stay with any side, neither the United States and Israel side, nor the Iran side. While we know that some members of OPEC have their own individual affiliations, but we know OPEC play a key role. When I say OPEC plus one, I mean plus Russia. There has been no unanimous agreement as to which bloc we support. We know that apart from Iran being oil-producing nation, Strait of Hormuz accounts for nearly 20%, and that is not to elevate the numbers. Because if it's just 20%, the kind of impact it's having should not be this much. Recall that United States has major influence on what happens in one of the American countries, one of the Americans. I think, if I remember the name, I'll tell you. I think Venezuela. That's the country, Venezuela. So one is wondering if that so much influence is happening on Venezuela, how come the war in Iran is still having so much impact? So this is how individual countries should respond. First, as members of OPEC, do we want oil prices to go above board such that if the price goes down, it is more devastating? Now, it is not oil price going up that affect nations the most. Countries that invest properly, when the price goes up, it has positive impact on them. But I want you to also do this independent research, which SPM has done before. We noticed that when oil prices go up and it affects Nigeria positively, the moment the price tanks, so it goes down, it has major negative impact on our currency. Why? Because by that time, government might have increased minimum wage. By that time, statutory allocation might have increased. By that time, there is new taste, new pattern. By that time, those in office holders at state, federal, and local government, they already have new pattern. But the moment it goes down, we cannot maintain it. It is difficult to revise. So what happened? Infrastructure suffer, electricity suffer, rail, train suffer, road suffer, and so on and so forth. So our advice, therefore, will be we need to ensure we manage what the prices will be. If not, it will affect inflation around the world. In fact, high inflation is what is projected if this world is not settled before the end of the year. It will also affect the poverty rate, especially for Nigeria as a developing nation. We saw what World Bank published regarding the numbers. So, and it's not just us. So you know that the other bloc, the country I call plus one, Russia, also has its own fair share of ongoing crisis between the nation and that of Ukraine. So the world is in a volatile moment, and it's a volatile year for oil markets, for oil-producing nation, because of what is going on across those 2 key regions.
Well, it's getting more interesting. But for me, for all dependent economies, particularly in Africa now and other developing regions, Dr. Alaje, what economic opportunities or challenges could arise from a more stable or unstable Strait of Hormuz?
A lot of positive opportunity comes to us, Nigeria, Libya, and the rest of African producing oil. The truth is that the higher the price, the bigger the party for us, the bigger the cake for us. But watch this. United Arab Emirates, a country that produces oil, is moving away from it, trying to intensify its tourism, trying to intensify its technology, and so on and so forth. Why? Because on our streets, recall that about 5-10 years ago, a senator by the name Ben Bruce came to the Senate and proposed that Nigeria should adopt an electric car. You saw that bill did not see the day of light. I laughed when I saw the report because it was not necessary for such bill to be presented. Why? The world we try to catch up with the world. Electric cars are now on the streets of Lagos. And I can tell you, Mr. Tolu, in the next few years, you will even own one. Even if you don't want it, you might be gifted an electric car. Why?